Alvarado, Texas. A police officer was critically injured after being shot in the neck while answering a call near a federal immigration facility. Authorities have detained multiple individuals connected to the shooting. On July 4th, tensions escalated outside the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado, Texas. Officers had responded to a report of suspicious activity near the facility. Someone had been spotted possibly carrying a weapon. As one officer approached to make contact, gunfire erupted. Multiple individuals opened fire, and the officer was struck in the neck. He was rushed to a nearby hospital, treated, and later released. Several individuals were taken into custody at the scene, and the motive behind the shooting is still under investigation. Homeland Security reported that a dozen people were involved in damaging federal property, slashing tires of government vehicles, and disabling security cameras at the ICE facility. Meanwhile, another ICE center in Portland, Oregon, also faced an attack amid ongoing protests. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche released a statement confirming that federal authorities are actively monitoring both the Texas and Oregon incidents. He emphasized a zero-tolerance policy toward violence or vandalism targeting federal officers or property. These back-to-back attacks coincided with President Trump's signing of a sweeping domestic policy bill, one that allocates $45 billion to expand immigration detention capacity and an additional $31 billion for ICE operations. Let's hear from Tom, the border czar, as he breaks down who were the suspects who opened fire and were later taken into custody.
Good morning. Look, they're your typical protesters that go from protesters to criminals. The attack on ICE officers, you've covered it many times, is up nearly 700% now. We were talking 500% a couple weeks ago, so continue. The rhetoric against the men and women of ICE is skyrocketing, especially by members of Congress. We have senators, we have Congress people that compare ICE to the Nazis, compare ICE to racists, and it just continues. So the public thinks, well, if a member of Congress can attack ICE, why can't we? So the rhetoric has to stop, or it's a matter of time for someone, one of the ICE officers goes down or a criminal goes down. But we already see an officer go down. As far as the investigation, I want to get ahead of the local investigations. People that are protesting ICE operations, damaging ICE property, want to attack ICE officers.
Let's talk about the money. And this time, it's not just big, it's historic. Tom, the border czar, has a staggering $170 billion at his disposal under the new immigration bill. $46 billion is earmarked to complete the border wall, possibly before President Trump's second term ends. Another $45 billion will expand the capacity of immigration detention centers. ICE training alone gets $30 billion. Border surveillance and advanced technology, that's another $6 billion. A detail not widely discussed, but one that could reshape enforcement on the ground. And then there's manpower. With 10,000 new ICE agents being added to the current 5,000, the agency is tripling in size. The real question now, with this kind of funding, how much will America's immigration system and its streets change? With the force set to triple from 5,000 to 15,000 agents, immigration enforcement is poised for a major shift. Let's hear how Tom sees it unfolding.
Look, this is the first time I've seen ICE plus up in decades. I mean, I started in 1984. I saw the Border Patrol get plussed up, 4 or 5 times. When I was in the Border Patrol, we had like 4,000 agents. Now they got 20,000. ICE has never been plussed up at a meaningful level. And that was a problem, because the more you plus up Border Patrol, the more the arrests on the border increase. When they arrest, they go in detention. Now it's ICE's job, detention. It's ICE's job, transportation. It's ICE's job to go to immigration proceedings. It's ICE's job for removal. So ICE has never been plussed up at the level. This is the biggest plus up we've ever seen, which is going to create efficiencies in the program. We can transport people, detain people, remove people quickly, but it also adds more officers to the streets, which we need. You just said it. We got less than 5,000 deportation officers at ICE. We got over 20 million illegal aliens in this country. And I see the rhetoric right now. ICE, the number 3,000 days ridiculous. Well, I want to be clear. If you do the math, we would have to arrest 7,000 people every day for the remainder of the Trump administration just to remove those that Biden released into the country. So $3,000 people a day is not unreasonable. This gives more agents on the street to arrest more criminals, more national security threats. It couldn't come fast enough. Look, I think it's going to make America safer. For every criminal alien we take off the street and deport to another country, for every national security threat. Look, we got over 200 Iranians who are arrested since the Iran conflict. So this is going to make this community safer. We got over 600,000 illegal aliens with criminal records walking the streets of this nation. With this plus up, we can take them into custody, remove them quicker. That's going to make this country safe again. We're going to show the whole world that if you enter this country illegally, which is a crime, and you commit yet another crime here, There is zero tolerance. We're going to find you and deport you. We got to show the world there's consequences for violating our law.
And just last week, a new detention plan surfaced, what some are calling Alligator Alcatraz 2.0 in the Florida Everglades. Here's what Stephen Miller had to say about it.
We want to go to every Republican state, pick up the phone, call DHS, work with us to build facilities in your state so that we can get the illegals out, we can get the criminals out.
Let's listen to Tom as he explains which states are likely to support the plan starting.
Look, I think every red state governor would want to help us do this, because we need a lot more beds. We need 100,000 beds, and right now we got about 58,000 in custody. So we got to ramp up those beds quickly. Thank God, Governor DeSantis came through. This is a great facility. It's got an airstrip right there that we're going to use not only to deport people from that facility, we're going to use that as a staging area for the East Coast. We got a staging facility in Arizona. We got one in Texas. It's great. In Louisiana. It's great to have one in Florida. But I hope all the red state governors step up and help us do this, because we need beds quickly. And they got a prison system. They can certainly build upon that. But it's also going to give an efficiency to American taxpayer. Detention facilities are expensive. We're looking for the best deal out there. We're still going to count on our private contractors. They do it better. They do it cheaper than the U.S. government does it. But we want the governor to step up. This is their problem too. I mean, what Biden administration did to this country is a problem for every state in the country, even blue states. But I just don't think they're going to step up, because they're too busy attacking ICE and they're too busy attacking Trump pop. As long as the false stories go out, being pushed out by the media, members of the Hill, it could get ugly. I just hope the rhetoric stops, because we're talking about life and death here. These men and women of ICE, the men and women of Border Patrol, remember this, they're mothers and fathers too. They don't hang their heart on a hook when they go to work. They're enforcers of laws enacted by Congress. If you don't like it, go protest Congress.
An officer nearly lost his life, bullets fired not just at a badge, but at the very fabric of law and order. While federal forces gear up with billions in funding and thousands of new agents, a new era of enforcement is being written, louder, faster, and far more aggressive. But beneath the numbers lie human lives, broken trust, divided streets, and rising tension. As new detention centers rise from swamps and steel walls stretch across borders, one question remains: will safety come, or will the system break under its own weight? This isn't just policy, it's power in motion, and the consequences, they've already begun.